star of stage, screen, voice of Duckman, one and only, Jason Alexander.
What the hell are you staring at?
I know.
That's cool.
I do love it. I love it. I mean,
I love it too.
It's not respected as much as I feel like that should have been respected.
It came a little bit before the big wave of adult animation, before the Family Guys.
You kind of were ahead of that, but I loved it.
And yeah, kind of. God knows it has its cult following.
I'm one of them. I grew up on it. I must have been on Comedy Central at like the right point in my childhood where I'm like, I like that. But Jason Alexander is here in studio because he is over at Syracuse Stage, and I asked him off air, do you like our city of Syracuse? And you've been locked up working on this show.
We're in a room 6 days a week. So.
And the show is called The Last 5 Years, and I know this is a rock radio station. We just came out of Papa Roach, but I'm a fan of musical theater, and I know you are as well.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to this yesterday, and I love how it sounds. Now, explain the story just a little bit. Like, it's a love story, right? But the way you've explained it is kind of two different directions happening at once.
Yeah. So classically, the last 5 years is really just 14 songs written by Jason Robert Brown, who's very much, if you're a fan of rock and roll and pop, he is a consummate musician. He's one of the most creative writers for the theater that there is. It's a gorgeous score, and it tells the story of this couple's relationship over 5 years from beginning to end. The convention when they first produced the show was that the man's storyline goes from the beginning of the relationship to the end, while simultaneously the woman's storyline goes from the end of the relationship to the beginning. But we've actually made it even kookier than that.
I know. I heard that you've kind of twisted it around a little bit.
Well, the reason that we did is that if you go and see the show, I can explain that convention to you, but there's nothing in the show that tells you that's what's happening.
Sure.
So you see a song and you go, oh, they're breaking up. And then you see a song and they go, oh, they're meeting. And you think you're having a stroke. Because you go, what's going on?
Right.
So I asked Jason Robert Brown if I could take an approach on it that would, A, put more people in the show and would allow me to do the exact same storytelling he's doing. It didn't change a thing, but gives it a different reason for why it goes from one number to the next, and hopefully a reason that the audience will be able to track.
And they'll be able to follow it. And it was written rather recently. Like, it's not
early
that...
2000s.
Yeah, so it's got that sound that you know from musical theater, and I love it. So this show aside, what's a musical that really you love from the last 10 years? Newer stuff.
Oh, from the last 10 years? Dear Evan Hansen is
amazing.
Great show. Hamilton's a great show.
Great show.
You know, people are still out there writing.
Do you have time to get to the theater and see this as much as you like?
I do. I live in L.A., so getting to New York is a little few and far between. But when I get there, we binge.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Game of Thrones. We just go see every musical we can go see. There's unbelievable writing. I love contemporary music.
Me too. We just saw Book of Mormon. It came through town about a week ago when we saw it, and I loved it. Jason Alexander in studio. He is directing over at Syracuse Stage the last 5 years. They did this as a movie, right?
They did. Anna Kendrick and an actor named Jeremy Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was actually, considering it is a crazy little show, they did a very nice job with that film. I actually learned a lot about the piece by watching that.
So now you've been doing all of it for a very long time, you know, stage, TV, all that stuff. But now I read one of your tweets that your son is doing comedy as well. As a dad, is that kind of, I have two kids as well. Are you kind of like protective of that? Like the things that you've seen going through the entertainment business, or are you like, go for it, buddy, it's great?
No, you know, with you're talking about my son Gabe, and we didn't prod our kids to do any of this. He got up at 2 and started singing and dancing and went, well, okay, I guess that writing's on the wall. When Gabe developed a sense of humor that made me laugh, we were thrilled. And the fact that he somehow decided to pursue sketch and improv as his primary road into show business is great in that he can get up 5 days a week in Los Angeles.
Sure.
The downside is I don't think he makes $5 a week as an actor because nobody's paying for that. But it's great training, and it makes him write, it makes him direct, it makes him produce. It kind of gives him a great all-around initiation.
Does he come to Dad for any of the advice? Does he say Dad?
Absolutely not.
Right.
If I say up, he goes down. If I say left, he goes right. He's very, I think, respectful and appreciative of what I do, and very rightfully determined to make sure he goes his own path.
Yeah. Jason Alexander in studio the last 5 years. It is happening over at Syracuse Stage. End of this month, May 29th through June 16th. I know you're directing it up till the end of the month, and then you're taking
you don't
off.
need me.
Then
if they need me
got
after May 31st, something has gone terribly wrong.
Before I let you go, my only concern for you, Jason, is that while you're in town, you find something good to eat. I know that it's your first trip to Syracuse.
Sure.
and I don't know where you have been taken to eat a good meal. Do you need any recommendations? Do you have a specific food
I'll tell you
that you
the
like?
one place I've been to so far.
Yeah?
It was terrific. So I'm not comparing any
go
other
ahead.
Syracuse eatery.
Go ahead.
But we went to Lemongrass the first night we were
Right
here.
down
That
the
was
street here.
Very, very good.
Very good.
And we are, of course, across from Phoebe's.
Right.
And they've been treating us very, very well.
So then you found some good
And I've
places
had a
to eat.
slice of Franco's pizza and lived to tell the tale.
Don't be afraid to get some barbecue while you're in town.
Sure. Where would I go for that?
You're going to go to Limp Lizard
That's
or
what I
Dinosaur
say.
Barbecue. Limp Lizard are a couple good places.
Everyone's going to tell you Dinosaur. Hit up Limp Lizard.
Limp Lizard's
Really?
the place.
That's-
They can
that's
probably
Getting a
Grubhub it
little
to you.
kickback
That's what I
there.
say. No, I wish. I want to send me some ribs.
He takes payment in barbecue. He takes it in brisket, so
Wow,
that's good.
okay.
And then if you want a calzone or some wings, there's
Yeah.
places. There's places.
Well, sure. We're only 2.5 hours from Buffalo. There's got to be a wing.
There's got to be. There's wings. So if you need
Oh,
any
wings are better.
advice, you make sure
we
you
got the wings.
We're
All right.
eaters, Jason Alexander. We
I
can tell you where to
understand.
go if you want to go. Jason Alexander directing the last 5 years over there at Syracuse Stage. It is opening end of this month through June 16th. Go to Syracuse Stage to get information on that. Sir, I appreciate the time. Big fan.
Right
Thank
back
you so
at you.
much for coming in. We'll come back after live. It's K-Rock.